Fun night for us here on Rockline, joined by Billy Bob Thornton and the Boxmasters. The new album is Mod Billy. It's available in stores and online right now. Austin, Texas. Charlotte, you are on the air with us.
Hi, Billy Bob. How are you?
Good, Charlotte. How you doing, honey?
This is your Facebook friend with the rainbow.
Oh, hey, how are you?
Good.
Good to talk to you, sweetie.
Nice to talk to you. I just also want to thank you on behalf of Austin for honoring Pootie Locke with the song that you just wrote and recorded in honor of him.
Oh, well, thank you.
It's really awesome.
Thanks for bringing that up. Pootie was our friend, and he was a great, amazing guy, as you know. I mean, because you're from down there, you know how important he was to everybody around there. And what was interesting about the song is when we got home from Texas, we'd just been with Pootie and Willie Nelson and all of them, and we got back 2 days later. We came back on the bus and heard that Pootie had died the day we got back, and so we got down to the studio and wrote this song that night, and it was on the radio. This just shows you how Texas is. We recorded it that night, wrote it in 10 minutes because it just said who Pootie was to all of us, and sent it out to however they do this stuff on computers. I'm not sure how they do it, but one way or the other, JD got it to Texas somehow. And the next day, it was on radio stations all over Texas. I mean, literally hours after we'd finished recording the song. And so thank you so much for bringing that up. We love Pootie. And the first time I met Pootie, people think I've just known him since he's been with Willie, which has been 20, 30 years, whatever it is. I actually met Pootie when he was working with a guy named B.W. Stevenson a long time ago in the early, mid-'70s. It was the first time I met Pootie. B.W. Stevenson was the guy who had the hit with a song called My Maria.
I remember that, yeah. Did you have a question, Charlotte?
Yes, I did. There's a name that's been brought up in several different interviews that you've done, I've noticed, and that name is Tom Petty. And so I'm thinking he must have been, some sort of inspiration or influence on your music career. And I'm just wondering if you could talk a little bit about that.
Tom Petty's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine and a wonderful musician and songwriter. And Tom is sort of, for all of us who are, especially us older guys who, you start getting around 50 and you start looking around for those guys that are still doing what we loved growing up. And Tom's one of those guys who's still playing actual rock and roll. And, whereas our music's kind of hillbilly rock and roll, it's very influenced by guys like Tom. They have that sound that's vintage and still current all at the same time. Yes.
And if you don't know the song Louisiana Rain, go to the album Damn the Torpedoes and listen to that and see if you don't hear a little touch of the old country in there, having you guys in it reminds me of the Flying Burrito Brothers and Poco and the era when that was on rock radio. It was huge at one point in the 70s on rock radio. Modern country sounds a lot like 70s country rock to me, to be honest with you, today's current country.
Sounds a lot like 80s hair metal to me with fiddles and pedal steels.
Yeah, some of the Nashville sound is not exactly cool these days, but you're right on the money there with the whole Burrito Brothers and that whole sort of cosmic cowboy era.
Graham Parsons.
Parsons was that's very influential to us. Part of what influenced us is that era when the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band were around, which is one of the bands I did roadie for at that time when I worked for the sound company, and as well as Michael Nesmith, who was, everybody knows him as the Monkey, but Michael Nesmith wrote a lot of amazing songs that people don't even remember that he wrote those, sometimes, and he's a big influence on us, so we always want to pay tribute to him, as well as the people you mentioned like Poco and the Burrito Brothers and the Byrds, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, listening to the iPod on the way in, and My Back Pages by the Byrds came on. I was thinking, I'm going to the right place tonight. Yes, sir.